In the vast, ancient sprawl of the galaxy, Earth was a whisper lost among titanic voices. Dozens of alien civilizations, some millions of years old, had long formed a loosely governed body known as the Galactic Accord. These species saw themselves as stewards of order, having survived their own violent histories to create a fragile peace. To them, Earth was irrelevant, a latecomer to the stars, noisy and quarrelsome, with a primitive culture that still grappled with nationalism and environmental collapse. At best, Earth was pitied, at worst ignored. From orbital stations and distant probes, alien analysts observed humanity with mild curiosity. Earth's technology was developing at a steady pace, but nothing suggested it was a threat. No great wormhole drives, no large-scale spacefaring fleets, no formal diplomatic envoys. Earth's only exports were entertainment signals and occasional rogue AIs that had to be quarantined. As far as the Accord was concerned, humanity was little more than a regional oddity on the galactic fringe. This dismissal was the galaxy's first mistake. Far beyond Earth's atmosphere, at the edge of a resource-rich asteroid belt, a Terran mining convoy, operated by a corporate union partnership, was attacked. The assailants were a group of loosely affiliated alien pirates, tolerated by several Accord species due to backdoor trade arrangements. The convoy had no warships, only lightly armed escort drones. The entire fleet was wiped out in under an hour. When news of the massacre reached Earth, there was no public outcry. No televised mourning, no protests. Instead, the Terran Central Defense Network, TCDN, a quiet but omnipresent entity long believed by the public to be just another bureaucratic relic, issued a single encrypted signal across the solar system. 6 in B. Hours later, the nearest pirate base vanished from existence. Unmarked ships had arrived at the coordinates using technology that did not match any known galactic classification. They did not respond to hails. They did not leave survivors. What little footage was recovered showed colossal vessels, Dreadnoughts, but sleeker and more terrifying than anything the Accord had seen, emerging from folds in space and raining down coordinated energy volleys with brutal precision. The Accord, confused and embarrassed, demanded answers. They had not authorized military escalation. Earth had no ambassador on the Accord's Central Council. It had not even applied for observer status. How had it acquired such ships? Why had it responded with such overwhelming force? The galaxy's assumptions were collapsing. In private conclaves, Accord strategists scrambled to review ancient records, searching for any sign of Earth's military buildup. There were none. Probes sent near the solar system had seen nothing suspicious. Earth's outward-facing signals had even grown less aggressive over the past century, but Earth had not been idle. Unbeknownst to the galaxy, the silence from Sol was not due to weakness or isolation. It was the quiet of calculation, of construction, of preparation, the quiet before a storm. And now, with a single decisive strike, Earth had spoken, not in words, but in the language of war. The galaxy had underestimated Earth. Now they would have to reckon with the consequences. The destruction of the pirate base shocked the Galactic Accord, but even then, the major powers did not grasp the true scale of their error. The prevailing assumption among Accord diplomats and military strategists was that Earth had somehow acquired or stolen advanced alien weaponry. Perhaps it had reverse-engineered an ancient relic, or a rogue civilization had secretly armed them. No one believed that humanity had developed such power independently and in complete secrecy. In response to the incident, the Accord dispatched a small task force to Earth's edge, a fleet of 15 vessels from various member species. Their mission: deliver a stern message and politely remind Earth that unregulated acts of war violated Accord protocols. These ships were not intended for battle, merely to project strength and demand compliance. The Accord had used this tactic dozens of times on younger, overzealous species. It had always worked before. It was a fatal miscalculation. The Accord fleet dropped out of warp near the Oort cloud, broadcasting a series of formal declarations. No response came. Moments later, space itself seemed to ripple. An Earth dreadnought emerged, Not from a traditional warp gate, but through some kind of gravitational fold in space, completely undetectable until it was too late. Then another, and another. They were black as the void, with no identifying insignia, just smooth angular hulls radiating a low-frequency hum that disrupted communication arrays. The Accord commander attempted to initiate contact. No answer. And then the Dreadnoughts fired. It wasn't just firepower that shocked the observers. It was how Earth fought. Precise, methodical, efficient. The Accord ships, though well-armed, were configured for intimidation and policing. Earth's Dreadnoughts were built for extermination. In under 3 minutes, the entire task force was reduced to drifting wreckage. Escape pods were left untouched. Earth wanted survivors, witnesses. The message was clear. Earth would not be threatened. Panic spread through the Accord. For the first time in centuries, a new power had emerged, one capable of devastating their forces and violating their space with impunity. Emergency sessions were held. Theories abounded. Some called it an act of terrorism. Others feared Earth had discovered a new energy source or weaponized AI beyond control. Still, the prevailing belief clung to one dangerous hope. This was a rogue Earth faction, not a unified front. The idea that all of humanity stood behind this military power was too unsettling to accept. Yet they were wrong again. Earth's global governments, once fractured and competitive, had quietly unified under a single planetary defense doctrine decades earlier. The Terran Central Defense Network was not a rogue actor. It was Earth's consensus, forged in the shadow of threats no other species had anticipated. What the Accord dismissed as Earth's chaotic politics had, in truth, given birth to a new kind of unity, agile, secretive, and ruthlessly effective. Humanity had hidden its true capabilities not just from the galaxy, but from itself. Most citizens had no idea the TCDN existed in full. The Dreadnoughts had been built in silence, in deep space, far from curious eyes. Earth had never intended to enter galactic politics with treaties and envoys. They had prepared for war. And now, with the veil lifted, the galaxy was faced with an uncomfortable truth. This quiet planet had become something else entirely. A force no longer content to remain underestimated. The galaxy scrambled to understand how Earth, a backwater planet barely acknowledged in interstellar diplomacy, had unleashed dreadnoughts that could outmaneuver and annihilate an Accord fleet. The answer, buried in humanity's forgotten history, and hidden decisions lay in the long, cold shadows of Sol. It began nearly a century earlier, in the late 21st century, during what was known on Earth as the Second Cold War. Amid rising global instability, climate crises, and fractured political alliances, an anomaly was detected, an alien transmission deeply encrypted pulsing from the edge of the solar system. Publicly dismissed as interference, the signal triggered a secret summit among the world's remaining superpowers. What followed was not war, but Project Sol's Shield, a unified effort to prepare for an unknown future. Humanity had long feared each other. Now, for the first time, it feared something greater. Nations with a history of conflict came together under covert treaties, pooling knowledge, resources, and technologies. The result was the Terran Central Defense Network, TCDN, a quiet, distributed command structure with one goal: ensure Earth would never be caught unprepared. Earth didn't leap ahead in flashy science. It refined what already existed. Artificial intelligence, once hobbled by ethical red tape, was given new freedom. AI cores designed not just to think, but to evolve. Quantum computing networks connected deep space research stations. Solar harvesting satellites in Mercury's orbit powered clandestine foundries on the dark side of the Moon. And across the asteroid belt and Kuiper regions, automated shipyards constructed the real weapons, the Dreadnoughts. Unlike the starships of the Accord, often ceremonial, symbolic, or bloated with ancient tech, Earth's warships were sleek, minimalist engines of destruction. Designed for silence, stealth, and speed, they carried adaptive armor, AI-assisted targeting, and warp-folding drives that left no trace. These dreadnoughts were ghosts in space, built not to be seen, only to strike. The true genius of Project E, Sol's shield, was its invisibility. Earth's public space programs remained modest, projecting an image of slow but steady growth. Civilian telescopes and even Earth's own population were unaware of the military-industrial complex humming beneath their feet and above their skies. Everything critical was hidden, from deep ocean AI servers to disguised orbital installations. Earth had become a fortress masquerading as a farmhouse. While the Accord believed Earth was merely broadcasting outdated entertainment and struggling with fossil fuels, humanity was running military simulations on Saturn's moons, testing weapons, on dark matter fields near Neptune, and deploying drones to interstellar dead zones. Every intercepted signal from the galaxy had been logged, decrypted, and analyzed. Earth knew the galaxy, but the galaxy knew nothing of Earth. The pivotal mistake made by the Accord wasn't ignoring Earth's signals, it was misunderstanding Earth's silence. While other civilizations broadcasted their cultural superiority and technological advancements, Earth had gone quiet for nearly 80 years. No declarations, no treaties, no ambassadors, just silence. But it was the silence of calculation. Now, as the first Earth dreadnoughts vaporized Accord fleets and vanished without a trace, that silence had been broken. And in its place came a new sound, cold, efficient, and terrifying, the sound of Earth's awakening. The destruction of the Accord's task force had silenced any illusions of Earth being a primitive, reactionary world. Now Earth was no longer just defending itself. It was moving, strategically, relentlessly. The dreadnoughts were not a one-time show of force. They were just the beginning. Within days of the first engagement, Earth launched a sweeping campaign across the outer reaches of its territory and beyond. Pirate strongholds, smuggler networks, and black market trading hubs that had operated for centuries with the quiet approval of the Galactic Accord were methodically annihilated. Earth didn't bother with warnings or negotiations. It struck with precision and left behind only debris and a message embedded in each destroyed station's data core. We do not seek war, but we will not tolerate predation. The galaxy, once confident in its understanding of military doctrine, struggled to comprehend what it was facing. Earth's warfare was unlike anything they'd encountered. There were no fleets of hundreds, no towering flagships with ceremonial crews. Instead, small groups of AI-controlled dreadnoughts accompanied by swarms of unmanned combat drones executed surgical strikes with mathematical ruthlessness. They operated without delay, without emotion, and without bureaucracy. Where the Accord required months to authorize a campaign, Earth executed and concluded operations in hours. Terran tactics exploited the stagnation of galactic warfare. While most species clung to ancient codes of engagement and ritualized conflict, Earth had evolved through centuries of asymmetric warfare, cyber attacks, misinformation, economic sabotage, guerrilla tactics. It understood the psychology of fear and the efficiency of unpredictability. And its greatest weapon wasn't just technology, it was adaptation. The dreadnoughts themselves became a symbol of terror. Designed with modular AI cores, they learned from every encounter. Their targeting algorithms evolved in real time. They adapted to new energy signatures, shield types, and weapon patterns with terrifying speed. And they coordinated without delay through a quantum-locked intranet, invisible and untraceable to the Accord's communication networks. Amid this chaos, the Galactic Accord struggled to maintain internal unity. Member species began arguing among themselves, some calling for a full-scale retaliation, others advocating immediate diplomacy before things escalated further. Several minor worlds defected from the Accord, declaring neutrality and refusing to engage with Earth's forces. Trade routes collapsed. Border territories were abandoned. The long-held illusion of galactic order was unraveling. Meanwhile, back on Earth, debate raged within the Terran Central Defense Network. While the military arm pushed for continued enforcement and expansion of Terran security zones around the Sol system and nearby sectors, civilian leaders and ethics councils questioned how far Earth should go. Was this still defense, or had it become domination? Some argued that Earth needed to establish its power now, or risk falling prey to a vengeful galaxy once the Accord regained its footing. Others feared that by fighting monsters, humanity was becoming one. But the Dreadnoughts kept moving. With each victory, Earth's reputation transformed. It was no longer just a dangerous upstart. It was a power to be reckoned with, a force that did not ask for permission or recognition. It simply acted. And somewhere, in the cold dark between the stars, the galaxy began to whisper a new phrase. Do not provoke the quiet ones lest they rise with fire. The Galactic Accord's sense of control and superiority was shattered. Earth's ruthless campaign exposed glaring weaknesses in the once unstoppable coalition of alien civilizations. The shockwaves rippled across political and military spheres, alike, forcing the Accord's fractured leadership to confront an unthinkable reality. Earth was no longer a minor nuisance, but a formidable power reshaping galactic dynamics with brutal precision. After months of Earth's surgical strikes dismantling, pirate networks and undermining Accord outposts, panic reached its peak. The Accord scrambled to assemble a vast counteroffensive, pooling resources and fleets from dozens of member species. This combined force was unprecedented in scale and intended to crush Earth's rising influence before it could fully consolidate. However, the Accord's response was hampered by internal discord. Long-standing rivalries flared as some species saw Earth's ascent as a threat to their own ambitions, while others questioned whether risking a full-scale war with a previously unknown power was wise. Diplomatic channels clogged with accusations and backroom scheming, fracturing what little cohesion remained. Ignoring these tensions, the Accord launched the massive fleet toward the outer reaches of the Sol system, aiming to engage Earth's forces in a decisive battle. Earth, anticipating such a move, set a trap, an ingenious ploy drawing the fleet into the dense asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The region's chaotic gravitational fields and debris made traditional fleet maneuvers difficult and dangerous. As the Accord fleet navigated the treacherous terrain, Earth's dreadnoughts and drone swarms emerged from hidden positions, striking with ruthless coordination. Their modular AI cores learned from the Accord's tactics in real time, adapting shield frequencies and targeting weak points with deadly accuracy. The combined fleet, despite its size, was caught off guard and systematically dismantled. The battle devastated the Accord's military might, forcing a humiliating retreat. Survivors from the wreckage carried word of Earth's terrifying power back to their homeworlds. The myth of galactic invincibility crumbled. With military options exhausted, the Accord's leaders convened in emergency summit sessions. It became clear that Earth's rise could no longer be ignored or suppressed by force. Instead, the Accord had to negotiate, though on Earth's terms. For the first time, Earth's high command made itself known, dispatching a delegation of military and political leaders to the Accord's Central Council. The message was simple, direct, and chilling. We were never silent out of fear. We were watching, learning, and now correcting. Join us or step aside. This ultimatum shook the Accord to its core. Many species bristled at Earth's brashness, viewing it as a dangerous upstart demanding respect and influence disproportionate to its history. Others saw the pragmatism of cooperation. Earth's power was undeniable, and galactic stability depended on integrating this new force. Negotiations were tense and protracted. Earth demanded sweeping reforms to the Accord's governance, greater representation for younger species, and the right to defend its sovereignty without interference. In exchange, Earth promised to uphold a new galactic peace, one enforced not by tradition or ceremony but by strength and vigilance. The Accord, battered and humbled, agreed to the new terms, marking a fundamental shift in galactic politics. Earth was no longer a backwater planet. It was a central power shaping the future of the galaxy. But the peace came at a cost. The galaxy had been forced to confront its own complacency and arrogance. It had underestimated Earth and now faced the consequences. The aftermath of the Accord's humiliating defeat marked the beginning of a profound transformation across the galaxy. Earth's ascension from an overlooked quiet world to a dominant force shattered centuries of assumptions and hierarchies. What emerged was not just a new political reality, but a new galactic order, shaped by the unexpected power of a planet once dismissed as insignificant. In the months following the peace agreement, Earth secured an official seat on the Galactic Accord's Governing Council. This was more than mere symbolism. It was recognition of Earth's undeniable military, technological, and political influence. The Accord's bureaucracy, long entrenched in traditions favoring ancient species and slow diplomacy, now had to contend with the pragmatic, efficient, and often ruthless approach that Earth brought. Earth's representatives pushed for reforms, calls to modernize the Accord's institutions to embrace transparency and adaptability. Some species resisted, clinging to old privileges and distrustful of this new power, but Earth's reputation as a relentless enforcer of security made opposition costly and unwise. Meanwhile, Earth's military presence in nearby sectors became a permanent reality. The Dreadnought fleets patrolled the outer edges of Sol's influence, deterring piracy and enforcing a strict order that extended beyond Earth's solar system. These fleets operated not only as guardians but also as symbols, reminders that the galaxy could no longer take Earth lightly. Within Earth itself, the public remained largely unaware of the true scale of the planet's galactic role. Governments maintained secrecy around many aspects of the TCDN and the Dreadnought program, managing the delicate balance between national security and civilian oversight. The myth of Earth's quiet, peaceful progress persisted for the masses, while the elites navigated the complexities of interstellar power. Culturally, Earth became a paradoxical symbol across the galaxy, both admired and feared. Many younger species looked to Earth as an example of rapid technological progress and military innovation. Some alien scholars studied humanity's unique blend of resilience, creativity, and unpredictability. Others warned that Earth's rise foreshadowed a new era of conflict, where power was wielded with little patience for diplomacy or tradition. The Galactic Accord itself evolved. What was once a council of ancient civilizations, steeped in centuries-old rituals, gradually transformed into a more dynamic institution. Earth's influence encouraged the inclusion of diverse voices and faster decision-making processes. The old guard had to adapt or risk irrelevance. Yet Earth did not claim the galaxy. Instead, it sought to protect its sovereignty while encouraging a fragile peace built on mutual respect and deterrence. The Dreadnoughts remained vigilant but silent watchers, their dark hulls a constant reminder of what Earth had endured and what it was prepared to do. Again, if threatened, the galaxy learned a crucial lesson: never underestimate the quiet ones. From the farthest reaches of space to the corridors of power on newly fortified worlds, whispers spread. The underestimated species, once dismissed as backward or chaotic, had risen, and with them came a new balance of power. Earth was no longer the outsider. It was a defining force shaping the future of the stars. In the final image of this new era, a Terran dreadnought glides silently through the void, stars shimmering off its blackened armor. It neither seeks glory nor declares war. It is the guardian of a hard-won peace, forged in fire and shadow. The galaxy has changed forever, and Earth stands at its center.